could go ahead and start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You want to start with a recognition? No, you have recognition first.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Stout. I would like to call up Ms. Panassi because we have a recognition we would like to provide.
Thank you very much. Over the summer, Mrs. Marceau reached out to let me know that there was an extraordinary young lady entering the 4th grade, Sadie, who wanted to play the violin, but who would need accommodations. Due to a genetic disorder, Sadie has no arms. Mrs. Marceau and I researched and had an idea of what we could do to accommodate her, but had no idea how to execute it. So we reached out to Mr. Charles Ruffino. Mr. Ruffino is a well-known luthier, that is someone who makes string instruments, who owns the Long Island Violin Shop in Setauket. We knew he would be the best person for this job because he was both an expert woodworker and he had an understanding of how a violin is played and how it resonates. Mr. Ruffino almost immediately responded that not only would he do it, but he would do it for free. He donated his time, his talent, and his materials to make a violin cradle that allows Sadie to play the violin with her feet. And he didn't just make one, he made 2 so that Sadie could practice at home as well. So, Mr. Ruffino, please come up and accept a certificate of appreciation from the Mount Sinai schools. Because of you, Sadie performed last week in the first of what we hope are many concerts. We're so very lucky to have someone like you in the community. Thank you very much.
I just want to read what this says. The Mount Sinai Board of Education and Administration wishes to extend their sincere thanks to Charles Ruffino for volunteering his time and mastery for one of our students with a specific need. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and next, you're staying up there because
I wasn't. I just wanted to know if you wanted me introduced.
yes, go right ahead.
Now we just have 2 groups playing some holiday music for us just to start the evening off.
We just learned how to start playing their instruments this September, so that's incredible. Really amazing girls. work that we do, and our staff does. The music department has done an incredible job. We're going to see some pictures
of the concerts we had so far. There were a lot of them, and we have a lot of talented students here. I don't know why I'm echoing. So just as usual, some of the things that have happened since our last meeting. We had our turkey trot the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which was incredible. The weather held out. It was a little chilly, but it was good weather for running. I was not one of the runners, but we had many, many people here. And our group, which the SAD group, our club, the Students Against Drunk Driving, Destructive Decisions, they raised $8,000 from this turkey trot that they donated to Holiday Magic, which was something that occurred last night. It was incredible. Less fortunate families came in. They were able to buy gifts for them. Our students went shopping. Really incredible evening. So this was the start of that, and they just did a great job. Their advisors did an incredible job with them. Some of the other things happening, we had the Native American Museum come in for our 4th graders, which is part of their curriculum. Some different classroom visits, and the Girl Scouts had a meeting, and they invited me to come speak to them, which was awesome, seeing our great students, their Girl Scout meeting. Again, around the district, we had our middle school concerts. There were 3 evenings 2 weeks ago with a variety of different selections from orchestra, band, chorus. We had our elementary concert last week. The 3 ladies who just played here tonight played there as well, along with the chorale, the band, and the orchestra. High school concerts, we had the combination of all those different groups, and then the piece de resistance was at the end when all of the groups got together on the stage and did that piece, Christmas Eve Sarajevo, which is you hear on the radio all the time. It sounded like I was listening to the radio performance. It just was incredible listening to it in the auditorium. And we had Hour of Code last week with quite a few different grade levels at the elementary school and at the middle school. Thanks to our high school staff, Mr. Cannett, Ms. Davidson went down and did this great project with our elementary and some middle school students. Those are our SAD students going out and shopping for the less fortunate students for Holiday Magic, and they just really did an incredible job. So just wanted to show you a picture. And of course, we had Wear Red for Ryan a couple of weeks ago across the district. Everybody wore their red shirts that they had purchased and raised money for him. And there's Ryan right in the middle with his friends at the middle school. So he came in for it, and he was so excited. Everybody was wearing red that day. Something I just want to remind everybody, I put out a message last week. It was a reminder that we have strategic planning surveys that went out for every group of stakeholders, including our students, our community, administrators, staff, teachers, parents. There's different surveys for each group. The parents received a message showing them what the student survey looked like so that they could see what their students would be asked. I went to the 7th and 8th grade lunches today to tell the students this is a serious survey, that they're doing me a favor. They're going to help us figure out what we want to do in the future as a district, so to please take it seriously and not write silly answers. And I know the high school, I know the gentlemen hopefully were asked, they were put up on the grade level Google Drive for them to take their survey by grade level. Security update. I just wanted to give an update after the event on December 1st. So just a couple of things to keep you up to date. I know I had sent out a message district-wide to everybody just to let you know what had happened. You know, a message came in via email that was not credible, but we investigate anything that comes in that might be even considered any type of a threat. So even though it didn't feel like a real threat at all, we absolutely called the police immediately, and the police response was incredibly fast, which is a wonderful thing. But what happened was they got here so fast, it was before people even knew police were coming onto campus. So they were literally on the road right outside of the gates and rolled into campus extremely quickly, I believe with some lights flashing, and they pulled up in front of the elementary school because that's where the GPS tells them to come to the elementary school. So that alarmed people that saw 4 cop cars outside of our elementary school, alarmed our staff that saw this happening, and the police actually came in through the elementary school, which made people a little nervous. So that already started some rumors going on that something was happening in the district. Very quickly, there were a few different things going on. We had spoken about possibly having dogs coming onto campus and different things going on. And at some point, we did find out from the police that this was something that we were the first place to get this message, but it went out to airports, it went out to synagogues, it went out to other schools upstate. So they then determined that it wasn't a threat at all, we wouldn't have to do anything about it, but we wanted to keep in a lockout situation to keep everybody calm and not have everybody kind of flooding down to the schools if at all possible. And we had to, the messaging, we were having some difficulties, so when it comes to communication challenges, we were able to see where we need to improve as far as making sure the message gets out quickly. When you look back, it was only an hour from when we first got the email to when a message went out to families by the principals. But we did look at what can we do to make sure messages go out very quickly as possible. Who are the backup people to send out a message if someone's not available? We had one administrator who wasn't there, so we want to make sure there's always a second administrator in a building. So we really sat down after the whole thing unfolded and went through all those different pieces to make sure everything is covered, that staff has the right training, that they're calm in the situation when they have to be, and that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and where they're supposed to go, and who can cover buildings for extra support when we need it. When something happens and it's the entire district, it wasn't just one building they were talking about, it was the whole district. So what would we do if that really did happen? So we were able to sit and work together as a team. We are going to be bringing in the RAVE app. I don't know if you've heard of that, but right now Mr. Canada is being very instrumental by helping us what's called geofencing our entire district. And if you're not familiar with what that is, that means that each section of each building and our athletic fields will have an area so that when someone presses a button for 911 or an emergency, it tells the police exactly where they are. So instead of pulling up to the front of the elementary school, they would go to the athletic field if there's an event. They would go to the high school if that's where the person was. And that RAVE app will let you call 911. It would let you call for a specific emergency if you need an ambulance, if there's a fire. You just push a button on the app. So that's something we'll be bringing in shortly. I think things are coming along pretty well, right? We've been working with emergency services. Yes, Mr. Cannett's giving me that thumbs up. So overall, we took it as an opportunity to look for improvements and what we can do to make things better in the future so that we can move quickly in an event something should happen. Okay. So a little discussion on the budget. Today, I just want to give an overview of when we're going to be covering different topics for the year. So our budget schedule and our timeline is the next few meetings. So we have our January meeting, our February meeting, March, April, May, and then our budget vote. And at each of the meetings, January 17th, there's going to be a lot of topics covered. It's coming through, it's just going slow. We're going to talk about, since it's getting stuck, we'll talk about the Board of Education's budget, central administration, insurance, central printing, BOCE's administrative charges, transportation, debt service and benefits, which includes things like ERS, TRS, Social Security, Medicare, health, dental, life, and disability insurance, unemployment, workers' comp, third-party administrator for Omni, and ACA. In February, we're going to be talking about our instructional areas, pupil personnel services, technology, guidance, and ancillary areas. In March, we're going to talk about operations and maintenance, grounds and security, athletics, salaries, and final benefits discussion. April 17th will be our final proposed budget for next year. And our budget hearing will be May 14th, and our vote will be May 21st. So just wanted to give the board a quick overview, but our big budget discussions will start at our January meeting. The other thing I wanted to bring to the board's and the community's attention is, I know walking in the door that a big conversation was grading and concerns about the regents and the percentage of the regents and whether it would count and what would we be doing moving forward. So just want to see one thing. Okay. Oh, I'm missing a slide. So our committee was made up of regents, teachers, subject directors, principals, guidance counselors, parents, and students. And we met 2 times. Our immediate objective was to review the grading weight of the regents in the finals. Our long-term objective, we like this as a group. We want to look at our grading policies overall, look at creating uniform policies at the secondary level and ultimately at the elementary level as well. But we felt that this is a great committee to keep moving forward, but our immediate task was to look at our regents and our weighting of the regents. So the committee had 2 meetings on October 16th and November 29th. The one that was November 29th was after the Blue Ribbon Commission. We purposely waited till after that because we wanted to see what New York State was recommending. Part of our meetings where we reviewed previous regents' results and the impact on final grades. So we looked over the years, what students' final grades were and their Regents results, and whether it had an impact positively or negatively or not at all. We reviewed the different grading scenarios based on different weightings. So if we kept it at 20, if we changed it to 12, if we had nothing at all, what would that look like? We discussed the recommendations once those came out from New York State Blue Ribbon Commission, and we went around quite a bit. Students gave us some great feedback about their feelings and about what happens about taking the test seriously, and we had a lot of different discussions going on, and the recommendation, the committee really felt that we would want to reduce our weighting from 20% to 12% for finals and Regents. We want to keep it the same for all courses at the secondary level, so that's grades 7 through 12. So each quarter would be worth 22%, and the finals and Regents would be worth 12%. And that would be the committee's recommendation moving forward. So I just wanted to share that with the board. And upcoming events, we have winter recess starting this weekend. We have a grades 8 to 9 parent orientation on the 11th, and we have Martin Luther King Day on the 15th. So that is my report.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for the superintendent from up here? Nick?
Dr. Criscione, what was the reason for keeping 12% for both Regents and finals?
So we felt that we wanted to have it count for something, a smaller percentage than what we currently have. We wanted to keep it the same for the finals and the Regents because we wanted to be consistent among all of our classes. We didn't want Regents to be less than a course that just ended in a final. We wanted to be the same for both classes. So we felt that 12% was the percentage where it would have an effect that would be detrimental to students.
Anybody else? Thank you. We'll start with the approval of the minutes. Anthony, if you would, please.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby accepts the minutes of the November 15th, 2023 regular meeting and November 27th, 2023 special meeting as submitted.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Karen. All in favor? All right. Nick, if you would, personnel, just the motion.
Motion resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves personnel items 1 through 5 as listed.
Thank you, Nick. Can I have a second? Second. Thank you, Chuck. Is there any discussion on it? All in favor? Excellent. John, number 7, action items.
Resolved upon the recommendation of superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves action items 1 through 3 as listed.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second that.
Thank you, Karen. Any discussion on the topic? All in favor? Excellent. I think we turned the pages so much more now. And Karen, action item.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education hereby approves action item 1 as listed.
Excellent. Can I have a second?
Second.
I think Christie beat you. Any discussion on the topic?
I have one thing. So I just want to make it clear what this is we're actually voting on. This is something that we've reviewed, and this was, and I'm going to actually just read from the accountant's report so it's clear. And I'm assuming this will be published, correct? But this way, everybody's aware of what we are actually just voting on. And it states that we have audited the Mount Sinai Union Free School District's compliance with the types of compliance requirements identified as subject to audit in the OMB compliance supplement that could have a direct or material effect on each of Mount Sinai Union Free School District's major federal programs for the year ended June 30th, 2023. Mount Sinai Union Free School District's major federal programs are identified in the summary of auditor's results section of the accompanying schedule of findings and question costs. In our opinion, the Mount Sinai Union Free School District complied in all material respects with the types of compliance requirements referred to the above that could have a direct and material effect on each of its major federal programs for the year ended June 30th, 2023. I thought it was just important that that's noted for the community to be aware of.
Very good, thank you, Nick. Can I have a sorry, we already got the motion on that. Can I have a vote on that, please? All in favor? Very good. That's all of our voting. Can we have a report from Eris? It's all you, buddy.
Good evening, I'm Aras Farrell, and I would like to fill you in on the recent events of the district this month. So in the high school, some of our high school music students participated in the All-State and All-County Music Festivals in November and December. Congratulations to all those who performed. Shadow Day continued through November and December. The junior class peer leaders who were selected and trained to take 8th graders through their days met teachers and experienced the many aspects of high school life. The program was well received and gave 8th graders a great sense of high school life. The 12th annual Turkey Trot was held the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We had a great turnout and participants were able to burn off their Thanksgiving Day meals. The high school students held a blood drive in late November to help the community with its needs. On November 29th, the Tri-M Honor Society held its induction ceremony that also included a concert by high school veteran musicians. Several of our high school track students who competed in the cross-country state championships placed and are moving on to the federation meet. Nice job, Mustangs. And congratulations to the varsity cheerleaders who are now 10-time regional champs. In the middle school, the 5th graders held a social on December 1st, and the 6th graders held theirs on December 15th. Students enjoyed games and a DJ, and both were a huge hit. Student Council organized Spirit Week, which started on December 18th and continued through the end of this week with many fun-themed days. Some of the highlights are Holiday Character Day, Candy Cane Day, and my personal favorite, Ugly Sweater Day. In the elementary school, 4th graders participated in the Writer's Workshop to learn how to make their writing come alive. Students shared their stories and provided feedback to their peers. In December, the elementary school focused on learning about building compassion and empathy. Students learned about how empathy is having awareness of others around you. An assembly was held where the students viewed a short animated film which illustrated the power of compassion and empathy. Our 2nd graders took a trip to Theater 3 to enjoy A Christmas Carol, which was sponsored by the PTO, and it was a great experience for them. The 1st through 4th graders participated in the Hour of Code in mid-December. These fun-filled sessions were aided by the high school computer science club students, a number of our high school teachers, and staff. The students were introduced to block coding and the concept of computer language. This was an amazing opportunity for older students in the district to mentor our younger students, and everyone found it to be a fun way to learn. Math Olympiads launched their first competition. We wish them all well, and we are looking forward to hearing more on that. 4th grade students enjoyed a day of hands-on learning about the culture of the Eastern Woodland Native Americans and their unique culture. 4th grade chorus, band, and orchestra had their winter concerts. A short excerpt from the concert can be found on the elementary school website, so please do check that out. And finally, high school students from Mrs. Lecce's Writing with Purpose class visited the kindergartners to share some of their works, which focused on story elements and the development of character. The kids really enjoyed the high schoolers' funny and entertaining books. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right now, we'll move into any questions from the community.
Hello, that's better. Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Crescioni, Mr. President, and esteemed members of the board. I'm Tabish Farrell. For those of you who do not know me, I'm in the 11th grade and have been in Mount Sinai School District since kindergarten. I've been an active member of the student body and I've been an elected member of student government every year since the 4th grade. I hold various positions in many clubs and organizations, and enthusiastically support all school activities and functions. I strive for academic excellence, as evidenced by my placement on the superintendent's list every quarter. My brother, Aras, and I have created a petition that reflects the needs of the Muslim students of the Mount Sinai School District. We propose that two major holidays, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, be formally recognized as non-school days so that we may observe and celebrate them. As all other groups are afforded this privilege, we are asking for the same consideration. These are special and holy days when Muslims spend time with their families, attend prayers, and celebrate. As it is currently structured, our school calendar does not allow for these days off. As such, our Muslim students are forced to choose either attending school or celebrating their holidays. There are consequences for not attending school. Homework must be made up, valuable class instruction is lost, and tests are potentially missed. This puts undue stress on the Muslim students, and many opt to forego their holidays as a result. Students should not be forced to make such a choice, to observe their religious holidays or to fall behind in school. It should be noted that other school districts, specifically Huntington, Syosset, Middle Country, and our immediate neighbors in Three Villages and William Floyd have already incorporated these holidays into their school calendar. On this issue, Mount Sinai is clearly lagging behind. It is in the spirit of diversity, equity, and inclusion that we request equal status with other faiths. The Muslim students have organized and obtained 687 signatures of students from kindergarten through 12th grade that I will present to you now. This is the petition that we organized. I would like to give it to you. We respectfully request the Mount Sinai schools include our Eid holidays into our district calendars. And if you will indulge me for a moment, I would personally like to thank the other students who worked on and helped circulate the petition: Ibrahim Chowdhury, Ahmed Jatoy, Yusuf Elbahay, Aras Farrell, Hadia Samin, Simra Ali, Hadia Faraz, Aisha Shah, Simra Azim, Nura Seda, Rehan Osa, and Hassan Jatoy. There are a few other students who would like to speak briefly on this topic. Thank you.
I'm too short for this. All right. All right. Good evening to the Board of Education as well as everyone else in attendance. My name is Hadia Samin. I'm in 10th grade, and I've been an elective member of Student Council, then later Student Government, since 8th grade. I'm also president of the Mount Sinai Muslim Center Youth Group for Girls. I'd like to take some time to explain the holiday of Eid and its significance to the Muslim community. Eid is the only religious holiday that Muslims celebrate where they spend the entire day in celebration. There are two Eids: Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan, where we celebrate our 30 days of prayer and fasting. The second is Eid al-Adha, where we celebrate Prophet Abraham's, may peace be upon him, sacrifice of his son, who God mercifully replaced with a ram. The holiday of Eid starts the night before at dusk and continues till the next day. On that night, we celebrate the last day of Ramadan and its blessings. The morning of, the entire Muslim community gathers in a communal prayer for Eid. Afterwards, the entire day is spent with family and friends. These blessed times with our loved ones often stretch well into the night, celebrating one of the only two religious holidays in Islam. I hope you can sympathize with our need and can strongly consider placing Eid as one of the official district-wide holidays. Thank you so much for listening to me and paying attention. I hope everyone will have a great night. Good evening.
Dearest board members and respected guests, Good evening to you all. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Simra Azim, and I am a freshman. I've been an honor student for as long as I can remember, constantly on the principal and superintendent's lists. I ran for student council president, and this year I was elected as a student government senator, along with being a member of the Mount Sinai Muslim Youth Group. Before I begin, I'd like to first thank you all for your time. To all Muslims alike, Eid is an extremely important holiday full of worship and social interaction, and it usually ends up taking up the whole day. However, every Eid morning is plagued by one worry: the absence. The process is such: call the nurse's office and explain that the absence is caused by the religious holiday to receive and excuse absence. Unfortunately, we end up having to make many calls to the school because sometimes they don't update the absence log even after multiple calls. It's usually a worry not to only the students but the parents, who are usually the ones making the calls and frequently checking Power School to see if the attendance log for their child was updated to an excused absence rather than an unexcused absence. Other than the attendance factor, there's also the process of emailing or talking individually to each teacher and collecting the work that is bound to be missed. Especially for certain classes with heavy loads of homework, it's a long and tedious process. These issues will certainly be solved with the addition of Eid being a school holiday, removing stress from the Muslim students' shoulders and allowing us to enjoy our celebration as it is our right. Once more, I thank you for your time, and I wish you all a wonderful evening.
Good evening, Board of Education. I would like to express my gratitude for this opportunity. My name is Simra Ali, and I have been a part of this district since elementary school. Today, I want to discuss the impact of not having Eid recognized as a day off during my academic journey here. Since childhood, I eagerly anticipated Eid as it signified a time to reunite with my family in New Jersey. Share in festive meals and participate in prayer, I used to enthusiastically share my excitement with teachers and classmates, elucidating the significance of Eid in my life. However, as the academic workload intensified with my age, I noticed a distressing pattern: crucial exams consistently coinciding with Eid. In the 8th grade, the day before Eid, I found myself once again explaining my impending absence to my teachers. This time, however, I faced an additional challenge: a test scheduled on Eid day. Despite conveying this to my teacher, there was no accommodation made. The rationale was that being absent on the day was akin to being unwell, and I was expected to return the next day fully prepared to keep pace with the rest of the class. Consequently, I found myself compelled to take a significant test on the day followed my most cherished celebration. The pressure to submit homework on time persisted, leaving me with the task of completing it en route to prayer in the car. This situation not only deprived me of the joy of Eid, but also hindered the ability to adequately prepare for academic responsibilities. Thank you so much for having me here today. I hope this story compels you to make the decision to make Eid a holiday. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Education. My name is Emma Jatoy. I am a junior here at Mount Sinai High School, and I've also consistently been on the principal and superintendent's list, along with currently playing for our Mount Sinai varsity soccer team. Thank you so much today for letting me and my peers speak today on a topic that's very close to our hearts. To sum up today, Eid is a very meaningful holiday for the Muslim population all over the globe, especially within our community. As expressed earlier by my peers, many children end up missing school to celebrate a religious holiday, causing them to be set behind their classmates in schoolwork. This causes stress among the students, especially since in the past, Eid has occurred towards the end of the school year, intervening with finals. We students would all like to experience the freedom of being able to celebrate our holiday. It is a holiday we celebrate by spending time with our relatives and being grateful for all the things we have. All of my favorite memories come from this holiday, and I would hate to see my future not hold that many more holidays because school did not want to be inclusive for our religion. My peers and I created a petition to include Eid as an official holiday in the academic calendar. We are able to get more than half of the student signatures within the school district. As I said before, thank you so much for letting my peers and I present to you today, in hopes of bettering the future of the Mount Sinai School District and creating a more diverse and inclusive environment. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
We appreciate all of the input that that you kids have come up here and given to us. It's a lot of information. It's a lot for us to consider. We will be looking at the different possibilities as we develop the calendar for next year, but we thank you for coming up and sharing all that information with us. It was very enlightening. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Considerations that are going to be put towards this request?
Well, yeah, obviously, whether or not we're going to put it into the calendar, but we need to also look at when the days fall. I was only aware of one of the days. That was my confusion, that there were two separate days, and how they're going to also interact with schedules moving forward, and along with state schedules and state testing that does get impacted by it, because this would be a district level decision, not a state level decision.
And when can we expect a response from Board of Education that this is going to go in effect or not going to go in effect?
Should we have the schedule squared away?
Usually we develop the calendar, I believe, in February or so is when we move it. I think around February is.
So during the school year, what the school year is, what does the school year start for Mount Sinai?
The school year is going to start in September. It will not be for this year. It's not considered. Our calendar is set for this year. It is absolutely not
This
going to
year
happen.
is already set, so we're going to be considering this for the next.
Correct. We're looking at the schedule for the future years.
Oh, I have one more question about the regions. There was a 12% between the region exams and the other. What percentage are we considering towards the region, and what percentage are we considering for the other tests or scores that we are from that 12%? Just trying to see how much is being considered for the region and how much is being considered for the other regions. Thank you.
I'll just clarify. Each quarter in the secondary level, there is a grade that is provided, and at the end, they get either a final or a regents as part of the course. Some classes might be a project, such as an art-based course or perhaps a music-based course. So for every quarter, the students' grades would be final grade would be 22% for the quarter. So quarter one would be worth 22%, quarter two would be worth 22%, that would add to 88%. And the final or the regions would count as 12% of their final grade.
Also, the 12% is totally for the regions.
Or the final.
Or the final.
Correct.
So how much percentage are we considering towards the regions, and how much percentage are we considering from that?
Either or. If the course ends in a final, it's from the final. If the course ends in a regents, it would be from the regions.
Oh.
12% is
Thank
It's
you.
for either one, whichever one the course is.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can I just ask a quick question? What are the due dates this year in 2024? Because it's in the end of the year, correct? April.
2024, the 2024?
This year coming up.
So
the next holiday, there's two Eves, right? So one is in April.
Yeah, one is in April.
And do you know the date of that?
We have like a date approximately in April.
April 9th. Because it changes, correct? Okay. And then the second Eid is what date? June 17th?
That's this year.
Of 2024, June 17th. 25 will change, correct? 2025 will change, okay. And so I think we had also just touched upon this because we had known that you were gonna ask us questions, and I think we had decided we were gonna talk possibly to no tests on the dates for this year coming up.
Yes, I would like to clarify that our religious holiday changes every year based on the moon second, so that's how you guys have to figure it out. The dates are already fixed. And you guys can consider.
We did speak, I did speak with Christine already about ensuring that students were not given any kind of tests as you were speaking to or major assignments on the days for this year. Because obviously we can't do anything about scheduling for this year, but at least we can minimize any kind of workload or anything of that.
I had a question. Maybe it's premature, but I know sometimes we don't use all of our snow days. If we don't use all of our snow days, could we consider adding a snow day that you give back and
it's based on when our calendars.
Right. So next year it will be a week or so earlier. So it won't be falling on each break, and it won't be falling during the summer. So they're kind of equally as significant, and I think if possible we'd like to get both off, but it's kind of more on whichever one kind of falls during the school year, because I know next year I believe Eid al-Adha will still be after the school year ends. So in the case of next year specifically, it would be more beneficial for Eid al-Fitr, the first one, to be off if you take that into consideration. But after that, it's kind of variable.
But I know, like the kids mentioned, other school districts do it. Is it worthwhile to talk to the other districts that are close to us and ask how did you handle it? Because if they did it successfully, it would be great to sort of
Similar options that we saw as well. We're also superintendent conference days being on the same day, and because I think it would get a little tricky with the snow days as time moved on, because I mean I could only really see out so far of where it shifted to, but it does start popping up in like February in a few years. We wouldn't want to be giving snow days back in February because you know that would be the year. But we did consider, we spoke about possibly considering having a superintendent's day on the same day, which would be, you know, the staff would be working with students, would be all from school that day. But we're going to, that's, you know, we were saying before about considering different options, and
Definitely talking to, I'm talking to the districts also, because everybody obviously is talking.
and that means a lot to us, that we be considering it.
Right, it's not a background we're being considered at all. It's looking at the options and seeing how it all fits together. It's wonderful to hear the importance of it and to be, and receive an education about it, because I don't know that everybody really knows, and you don't know what you don't know, and we appreciate the time that you take to inform us of these things.
If I may speak on this year's schedule, I know as is right now, one of these lands on April break, so that we already have that. So if we were to get both holidays off, we'll just go there and potential like that would be in Alabama, which is in June. So that would be the one that would be more significant for us since winter was already off this year.
this one was 17th.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify also. It's Monday, June 17th. Those are the two dates, Monday, June 17th, and April 10th. Those are the 2 dates that are coming up.
So this actually goes through, how would we accommodate if it falls on their plans or if they can?
That's another part of the consideration.
That's another consideration. Because what we were saying too is like the later ones, you know, some of them may fall during the region schedule, and the state doesn't do anything to make those accommodations, or it does the district chooses to do it.
Christine, do you know if the June schedule was out for the region shift or June
I
17th?
believe they're not holding regions, they're doing a ratings day on the 17th, so that there are no regions being administered that day.
I think the superintendent's day probably would
Because
make the most sense,
we do a spring superintendent's conference day, so usually in March, so.
So I know that in New York City, Metro City Boroughs, having Eid as a day off is required in all the schools. So in that case, I think it's like a very distinct possibility that they intentionally don't put regions on the Eid day. So if we look into that, I think that would be
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Send it, buddy.
How you doing? I have 4 questions, comments.
4, it's Christmas. We get
First, I noticed you guys have like after every section, you guys have some comment question. That's new. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Second is, I noticed on the discard list, everything's listed as e-waste or whatever else, so thank you again for that. And, seriously, shows that you guys listen, and I appreciate it. Third, for the meeting notices, can we just make sure that the location is accurate? It was listed as middle school tonight, and I went there.
So did I.
Yeah. Okay. So we're all the same about that. And then fourth, the longer one, I'd like to see if the districts can do a study on what student resources are being used to communicate schoolwork, whether it's personal teacher websites or Weebly or Google Classroom, because it seems like it's a real hodgepodge. And if you're a student and you have 9 classes and your teachers are giving you 9 different ways to get information or more, and different notifications, how to do that, it's very difficult and laborious, and it's very easy to miss things. So I would love to see.
Guess what? We already thought of this. We're on top of that. So we are going to be, I can't speak to it yet because it's part of our budget process, but we are going to be putting in one solution district-wide that everyone will have to use. One platform. Now, your grade school, power school cannot change. That's where everything is housed, so major grades from teachers, the official grades from teachers will always be housed there. But other things like communication features between us, between teachers with the students, it's all going to be one thing.
Great. The power school, I see it's a separate issue. I have no problem with that. Pays all the time to see how the students, my kids are doing. It's the other stuff, assignments and notes and things. I'm really glad you guys are on top of that. It's kind of a source of difficulty in our house at times, and I'm really glad that you guys are.
I'm never sure what to check. So I forgot my classroom, I forgot my classroom, did I do JoJo, or we had Seesaw, and they're all great platforms, but I didn't